All right, we are live. What is going on? Y'all already know what it is. Happy Monday. I know some folks probably had this day off. I think it's President's Day, something like that. We have Mardi Gras weekend, so shout out to the folks that celebrated. Maybe you needed a little extra day to recover, recuperate. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all out there that enjoy Mardi Gras, that enjoyed a day off, etc., etc. But y'all know what this is. This is Monday. So, yes, we have another Monday Night Live show full in effect for y'all out there on the internet. So, before we get started, I'm excited because we have a special guest coming on our platform tonight, y'all. So, without any further ado, please welcome, show some love for Miss Shonda Northern.
Hello, everyone.
So, Shonda, tell the folks about you. Who are you? Who you be?
All right, so my name is Shonda Northern, and I am a born and raised North County resident. I am an educator, a mother, a friend, all of the above. And thank you again, Kelly, for allowing me to be on this platform to share my thoughts and opinions about things that matter.
Thank you for even agreeing to, entertain me as always. And I gotta shout you out, Shonda, because you were a huge component, a key clutch player in our North County Closed Mouths Don't Get Fed campaign. So I gotta shout you out with your efforts in doing that. To really get the word out about St. Louis County and ARPA, making sure North County had a seat at the table and North County residents' voices were heard. So thank you. Shout out to you for that
Yes,
effort, which I feel like we could write a book about that experience.
absolutely. That was
Maybe.
an interesting experience, but once again, thank you for involving me in that
Oh, yeah.
experience, and just getting out and speaking to people about, just local government and the importance of local government because local government matters.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Facts. So you ready to get into this conversation, Shonda? You ready?
I'm ready to dive in. Let's go ahead and get started.
Oh,
Let's
get
get
this
started.
going. Whew, y'all, yes. So we are gonna kick it off tonight with city highlights. So first and foremost, I kind of want to let people know that the last full Board of Aldermen meetings were held not last week, but the week before on February 7th and February 10th. Um, I do want to lift up that they'll still be meeting. Some of their smaller committees will meet. So, I know there's a committee looking to work on this transition from 28 to 14 wards. That meeting, I think they meet this week. They have another committee meeting, the Education and Youth Matters Committee. They'll be meeting this week. But again, the full Board of Aldermen will not meet until April after all this foolery with the elections, after the dust settles from that. So there won't be any legislation passed, any legislation introduced, none of that until April. So not last week, but the week before, y'all, it was real. Okay. It was real in the city of St. Louis with Board of Aldermen because they was running around like chickens with their head cut off, trying to get all these bills passed and heard. And it was a lot. It was a lot. But we're going to cover a few of those bills. We're not going to cover all of them. But I did want to touch base on a few of them, especially some of the ones I know we've been discussing on Monday Night Live. So the first one I kind of wanted to lift up We talked about this at our in-person Monday Night Live session. Shout out to y'all that came out to that. Shout out to the Contemporary Art Museum as well for entertaining our foolery always. So what we talked about was a proposal to, again, change how ward capital funding is divvied up throughout the city of St. Louis. So historically, these coins, which are generated by like a 0.5 cent sales tax or something small like that. So the funds are pulled together and then they're equally distributed throughout now, right, the current 28 wards. However, there was an outcry saying, yo, pause, maybe we need to reconsider how we do this by equitably distributing these funds. So there was a lot of back and forth in committee. And so they, I guess, agreed on kind of a compromise. So their compromise was 70% of the ward capital funds would be distributed equally, right, amongst all of the 28 wards. Well, now it would be 14. And then 30% of the coins would be distributed based on need, right? So according to these metrics we discussed, median household income, poverty rate, educational attainment, unemployment rate, vacant parcels, ward acreage, and street miles. So again, 70% equal across the board to all 14 wards. And then the 30% would be distributed based on the ward's individual needs, looking at those criteria. Okay, so this proposal, the committee, they're like, yeah, we good. Let's accept one person, but we're gonna get to that in this upcoming clip. But all the people, they were on board. They thought it was good compromise. You know what I'm saying? You got the people that are like, you know, we want it fair and square. And then you had the people that's talking about equity. So this was their compromise, right? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. So then fast forward to I think this was that Tuesday, the 7th. So again, like I said, that previous proposal, the committee was cool with it, but then it had to come before the full Board of Aldermen, you know, for them to discuss it and either say yay or nay on it. So I'm gonna play this clip for y'all so you can get a sense of how some members of the Board of Aldermen felt about these proposed changes to how ward capital funding is spent.
To say that my neighborhood should be punished because the people in my neighborhood are a little bit more, I guess, income-wise, but we're not rich. We have roads and needs that are not being met because we don't have the money even enough now. And anything to take away money from my ward, I will oppose adamantly, which I did in the committee hearings. I was the only one opposing it in the committee hearings. So apparently it got this far. It should have never came out of committee. This should be divided equally, like the voters back then assumed what was going to happen 30 years ago when this was done. I didn't support that in committee. I don't support it here. I would support an amendment that makes it equal. Thank you. This is my comment. Thank you.
Further discussion, Alderman from the 24th.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to echo the sentiments of my colleague from the 7th. I think that this body has probably already given SLDC too much authority over various matters that we should be attending to. I've had my constituency, actually, some folks tell me if it passes this way that they will leave the city of St. Louis because they don't think that this is a fair thing to be doing. I think if you look around most wards in the city, it's pretty clear that we don't have enough revenue coming in to tend to all the projects that need to be gotten to. I know I'm sure all of us could talk about some roads that need repairing, some sidewalks that need repair, parks that need improvements, lawns that need tending to, and to to vote for something that would take away money from my constituency is just not something that I can do. So I will be opposing this. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Alderwoman from the 14th.
Yes, I'm opposing this for two reasons. I'm not running, but I will be a citizen in the city of St. Louis. And as many of us know, our services have been deferred for, since the pandemic took place. As about to be a citizen of St. Louis, I don't want my services cut any further. I would like to have some more things done in my neighborhood and in my ward. And I think that this, as agreeing with the alderman from the 7th, I think this is premature. I think that leave it for the 7 or the 14 wards, the elected officials that will take office on April 18th, I think would be a more prudent way of dealing with this. I think that at this point, we are way ahead of the ball, and I appreciate, the preparation that's went into this, but at the same time, as a citizen, and as you may not know, this was voted on by the voters back when this was instituted. So you're usurping the power of the voters along with all of this, and I just don't agree with it, and I'll be a no on this. Thank you.
Whew.
That was a lot to digest.
So I know that was a lot, y'all, but I'm a just kind of lift up some of the perspectives. Okay, so we got the alderman, I think it was Vaccaro, mentioning that he felt that his constituents were being punished, essentially. And in essence, because maybe they don't have high poverty rates and the like, they will be getting less coins. Then you had something else lifted up about some of the authority being put in the hands of the St. Louis Development Corporation in obtaining the data and, making these determinations. And then you also had the point lifted up of leaving it to the new Board of Alder people to decide, right? Woo. And you know what? I gotta lift up. We got a comment here, Charles. Yes. They talk about equity and fairness, but in the end, so we gonna get to that, Charles. So again, it was very interesting, but I'm gonna get to the, because that was the thing that I found interesting. But so some of the folks mentioned Vaccaro. He said that he couldn't support this bill, how it was written, but he will support an amendment, right, that struck that out, that whole equitable stuff. So I'm gonna play another clip because y'all know I'm a clip queen. I know. And it's not a long clip, but I'm gonna play this clip. So Alderman Oldenburg, he proposed a change, an amendment to the bill. So I'm gonna play this clip and then we gonna get into it.
This amendment basically strikes page 2, line 8, and page 5, line 918, which effectively removes the entire calculations and the categories that we are deliberating on, and simply says we will go to 14 wards, and the revenue credited and allocated to the sub-accounts there being for each ward in the city shall be credited and allocated in equal amounts. So it's effectively what we have today, just we're dividing by 2. Now, there's merit in this conversation. So I persuade you all, let's take care of the housekeeping, divide this by 14, knowing that there's only going to be 14 chairs in this room, and let's let that body have a thoughtful conversation around what is in here. Also, I thought the alderman from the 7th brought up some good points, the alderman from the 24th, around SLDC's decision analysis. I do think data should drive some of this conversation, but I think it's incredibly important that the next board have this conversation.
So again, so that people is clear, This dude literally took out the equitable distribution part of it. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to strike that, this little friendly amendment, just, yeah, bye. And we just going to keep it the same. We just going to change it from 28 to 14. And then they can get their coins equally. And then the new folks, they can deal with it. Now, and I'm gonna share this with you, Shonda, and then everybody else that's out here on the internet, because Shonda, you know, you my fam, you my North County fam, know. So, you know, I know you kind of like, what, these city people on some other stuff. But this is what I found very interesting about this. So again, well, wait, I'm gonna stick a pin in that because I need to tell y'all what happened. So the full Board of Aldermen ended up approving Alderman Oldenburg's change in the bill. And then they ended up perfecting the changed bill. And they ended up finally passing this bill. Again, striking out the equitable distribution, taking it all the way out. It's gone, y'all. It's in the recycle bin maybe somewhere. And it's the same thing. So distributing it equally amongst the wards. Now, what I found very interesting in this process is, again, so Shonda, you know, because I know in the city we have these, the Board of Aldermen have these committee meetings. So that's where all these bills are discussed by the committee. The committee votes on the bill. If they approve the bill, then it advances for discussion to the full Board of Aldermen. So this bill, it was approved by the committee. I mean, I can't remember Vaccaro. I know he wasn't feeling for really most of it, but the committee approved it. The 70-30 split, y'all, they approved it. And then when we went to the full board, you know, I can't vote against something if, you know, if it's less money coming to my ward. I can't vote against something. But we didn't talk about this in the committee. So that's all I'm saying. So shout out to Charles, his comment. They talk equity and fairness, but in the end, it is what it is. But I will say that, and before I, you know, mention my little 2 cents, Shonda, I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to comment, because
I wanted to.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. So with you showing that video, the same people that passed or said, you know what, let's do the 70-30. The same people that passed, they shut down and changed it and said, let's just split it equally.
Basically, yeah. There was some people that voted no, but yeah, I mean, it was a different tune. It was a different tune.
And I wonder what made them. I would definitely, especially for the ones that you know, sat in the meeting and said, you know, let's do it equitably. And then now they just swiped it out, like you said, threw it in the trash can, and then let's just do it equally, you know. And just even what Charles said, just really, really taking a deep dive into that word equitable, because that is very important. And going back to Joseph, the first alderman, he said, I just lost my train of thought, but he had mentioned, yeah, we're not rich, but you all are poor and you all are making do. Okay. So now we have to think about those in the other wards they don't have that same access as the people in your ward do. So that's when you think about, is it being equitable? So that was a disappointment. And you know, if with me not being a resident of the city, but I would want to know a list of the people, those aldermen who voted, you know, to, you know what, let's just change it. And I would want to know a list of the names and have a conversation with them to see why did they feel the need to change, and why not think about those, you know, having a voice for the voiceless. That's all, you know, just uplifting the whole community of St. Louis City, and not, you know, this division of this ward, that ward, you know. So
shout out to you, Shonda, because you get it. You get it. I will say, I think one reason, maybe not the whole reason, but one reason for the flip flop, it is campaign season, baby.
Oh, let me campaign season. So I'm going
So,
to tell you what you want
I
to. I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear.
mean,
Oh Lord.
I'm gonna leave that alone. But I absolutely agree with you. We'll see when these new folks come in April. Will this topic, will it be revisited? Will it be changed? Will we start again having these real conversations about what that word equity, like what that really means, instead of just using it as like because it is like a buzzword.
That
So
is
like
the
really,
buzzword. Yes.
it really is. So making sure we're really doing that work, and what will it take for us to move beyond what you said, like this ward and that ward, but looking at the city of St. Louis as a whole, right?
Holistic.
Whew, Lord.
And holding those aldermen and women accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Just really holding them accountable on with them taking on those roles. They were voted into these positions, and really just holding them accountable on what it is that, with it being campaign season, I have my notebook out when I'll be at these meetings, writing down everything they said they gonna do. Okay, da 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 da. When you all get sworn into these positions, all right, it's time to get busy. What are you going to do for this community? How are you going to uplift and empower this community that you serve? Because sometimes we have to remember that the people that are in these positions, they are servants.
That part.
They are servants of the community.
That part.
They're listening to the community and serving them. That's how I see it,
That
how
part.
it should be. So
That part. And Charles, I don't know if you're still on, but let me know, because I think that there's a way, Kashana, what you mentioned about having the list of how people voted, I feel like that is somewhere on the city of St. Louis's website. I feel like it is. Now I'm gonna have to start. See, let me write this on my little post-it note. Votes. I know that's public information.
yeah, that should be public information. Who voted
So I'm
for and against.
yes, because I agree that beyond what you just tell me, you claim you trying to do, but we have to be sure that we're holding you accountable to, number one, like, how have you shown up? How have you done the work? And what's up with this? Why did you vote a no on this? You said this, that, and the third in the ward meeting. You said this, that, and the third when you were on the campaign trail, but damn, sis, damn, bruh. I looked at your voting record. The math ain't mathing.
The math
So
ain't mathing. Accountability, yes, being able to see, okay, you did not vote for that. You voted for this, but you voted for that. Okay, why is that? I just
yeah,
want to get
let's have a conversation.
Let's have a conversation.
Whoa, Lord. Okay, so we're gonna keep it moving. Just a couple more things about the city. Like I said, it was like a whole bunch of bills that were passed. I'm just lifting up a few of them because I know these were some of the bills that me and Vanna, shout out to Vanna, we kind of maybe spoke to at some point in time on Monday Night Live. So some of the bills that were passed by the full Board of Aldermen, we got Board Bill number 64, which was sponsored by Alderman Cone, which changes some of the policies and procedures in connection with the consideration of development proposals. So making things more transparent, because we know some folks are locked up as a result of some of the things going on when it came to development in the city of St. Louis. So that bill passed. Also, Board Bill 120, sponsored by Alderman Bosley, allocates $74 million in ARPA funding. I know, Shonda, I know, to address various infrastructure needs, which, and we just talked about ward capital funding. Look at that. Board Bill 137, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, establishes a civilian oversight board. And this bill trusts this whole process. Again, shout out to Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, because she was not giving up on, again, making sure that police officers in the city of St. Louis are held accountable for misconduct. She's been going through it with these bills. So Board Bill 137 finally passed, and something that I don't really talk about resolutions for real, because resolutions ain't legislation, but I wanted to lift this up. So Resolution 171 was passed by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, and it ensures residents are engaged authentically to prioritize how the RAM settlement coins will be spent. So the city of St. Louis is getting, gosh, I mean, I think we getting at least $200 million somewhere in there. The county, they getting some grip too. But this community engagement process, I mean, it kind of sounds like deja vu, but we'll see. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? I remain cautiously optimistic all day, every day. Okay. So we'll see what happens with that, I guess. And then the last highlight I have, as I mentioned, y'all, this is campaign season. It's hella Board of Aldermen candidate forms, because you blink, literally you blink, y'all, it's going to be March 7th, which is the primary election. So, I mean, I've attended quite a few entertaining, interesting candidate forums, and there are plenty more leading up to the primary election. So I'm lifting up two on here, on this here slide. There's one, I know it's small, but there is one happening on Wednesday via Zoom at 6:30, I believe it is, and that focus is on the Board of Aldermen candidates representing the North Side. So that's the new wards 11, 12, 13, and 14. It is being hosted by ASAC. Shout out to them for sending me this flyer. Yeah, so that's happening. Also, we have a forum on economic justice. This is being hosted, facilitated by We Power. Shout out to them, at the Central Library on Saturday. It's gonna be damn near all day, but they feed you and they provide childcare. Okay, so let's get into this. Again, there are even more forums. I also tell people, go to the League of Women Voters website. They have a whole list, okay? A whole list of forums, and not just the city forums, but also the forums in St. Louis County, because there are elections happening in St. Louis County as well in April. So please, y'all, go ahead. I know y'all scrolling anyway, so be on the internet and be informed, because we have to know who we are voting for, as we looked at in these previous slides, how important this is. So please go out, be informed, be engaged. If there are any other forums that y'all know about, please email them to me at kelly@transform314.org. I will share it literally with everybody and my mama. And yes, my mama's like, girl, another forum. So I share them. So please, if you know of anything else going on, hit me up, because I email folks. And you can email me too if you want to be on my email thread, because I provide a lot of information. So that was my plug. All right. So I know, Shonda, you ready? You ready for this St. Louis County highlight? Okay. So I will say that you know it's real. You know it's real if the St. Louis County Council is meeting on a Saturday. Okay, y'all. You know it's real. Cause they just saying. I'm just saying. If they meet on a Saturday morning, then it's gotta be something important. Cause yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna play this clip, and then I'm gonna ask Shonda something. But I'm gonna play this clip. This is Chairwoman Shonda Webb. She is talking about the purpose of this meeting, this upcoming Saturday.
Again, the focus of that meeting will be, one, to look at the sunshine laws and get some training on sunshine laws. Also, to walk through our rules so we can walk through and get a strategic plan on how we will adjust some of the issues in our rules. And then lastly, to look at some of those big rock priorities throughout the county that we would like to focus on across party lines that will benefit the county, such as the MWBE program, the budgeting process that we're going through currently, and even some staffing and other issues that we would like to work on with a task force to see if we can make some benefit. Very similar to the stabilization task force that Councilman Tracus and I worked on 2 years ago. So again, that will be the focus of the workshop meeting on the 25th, Saturday, February 25th, here in the chamber for the council members and available online for members of our community from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
So, real quick, again, they're going to have this meeting on Saturday to discuss some specific things. So, and I wanted to lift this up just so people know what it is that they're discussing. So, the first thing she mentioned was sunshine laws. So, I don't know if people out there know what the hell that is, but basically, sunshine laws refer to policies that promote openness. Yes, that word, that T word, transparency, in government. So this really looks at offering access to the public when we're talking about meetings, when we're talking about other records. So I will provide an example. I know local governments, whenever they have a meeting, they have to post that meeting publicly at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting, at least. Now, where they post the meetings and all that, that's up for debate, but technically they have to post it at least 24 hours in advance, right? And also when we're talking about like the meeting minutes, so you have folks, during the meetings, they are recording the business that's being handled. They're recording how people are voting. That's also a part of that. So that information is made available to us, the public. So I just kind of want to provide some examples of like what sunshine laws entail. Again, making sure that our local government is as transparent legally as it can be, because there are some things that they can't talk about. So when we're talking about HR related things and personnel related issues within local governments, or like some other confidential things regarding like real estate and stuff, like that's a no-go. Like those things are kind of excluded. But so they're gonna be talking about sunshine laws. The second thing, the rules. So if y'all didn't know, there's been a lot of controversy happening in St. Louis County during St. Louis County Council meetings, because Chairwoman Webb ain't having it with these people playing around. Let me stop. So real quick, she has proposed some changes to one of the St. Louis County Council's rules, in particular how they handle the public comment portion during the meeting. So her proposed rule change, and they actually did approve it, but it's still some words about it, but it moves the public comment portion from the beginning of the meeting to the end of the meeting. And something that she's really stressing is making sure that people that provide public comments are talking about county business. She's also trying to have some type of decorum maintained in the chamber, and Shonda's been to a county council meeting too. And she's been to a county council meeting too. So I want to get her thoughts on some of these rules changes. But like, it's interesting being in that space with some St. Louis County residents. Okay, to put it mildly, y'all, it's real. That energy is something else. But I kind of want to get Shonda, like, what was your experience when you attended a St. Louis County Council meeting?
It was a different experience, I will say that. But I want to ask this one question. You mentioned that she wanted to shift the expectations for members of the community when they want to give their public comment. And it was approved from moving them to the end because, like you said, they are at the beginning. And so that one was approved. So now they will be at the end of meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So I think just really kind of determining how we want public comments to look. Mm-hmm. We're keeping it about the business of St. Louis County. Now, as far as shifting it to the end,
yeah,
I don't know. That's, to me, my thoughts just is kind of minimizing the voice of the people.
Yeah, I received that, definitely.
That's because it's like, people are there to hear and not to take away from the meeting at hand, because the things that they are discussing, it matters, but shifting it to the end, it kind of minimizes that I have a voice and I want the voice to be heard. But however, like, okay, we're not going to, recite poems and just those different things. Like, let's keep it focused. It should be some parameters as to what when you get at the podium for the 3 minutes, what are you going to say? And let's keep it focused. So I definitely get that.
Yeah.
When I did go to the meeting, and what I do remember was like the public comments and just, and I was one to go up and give a public comment on just, my thoughts on North County, with me being a North County resident, and how going back to that word, equitable, North County is one that, like the stepchild, that's not really being seen, and, just really making sure that we're putting things in North County that you may see when you go to West County and when you go into South. So yeah, that was interesting to know that they moved those comments to the end, because those meetings can get long.
Yeah, like
I think the meeting that was like 3 hours.
Yeah, those meetings, they can be,
they
can get lengthy.
They get long, so just go in there. When I just say, if you got some comments, just go in and stay focused and hold on tight to your comments. So when it's time, you can get up there and you can share with the council members, your thoughts on wherever you reside in St. Louis County. So, and I wrote down the dates of February 25th to be able to listen in on that, and hoping that when it comes to staffing and HR, of course, those are things that we can't be privy to. However, just making sure that when we, because they have the role of, I guess, hiring those individuals or whoever's going to be a part of that staffing, just making sure that they, those individuals are committed to, providing services for St. Louis County and the budgeting, the big rock. So I would be curious as to know, what are those big rock priorities, and what are they going to do?
So what are your big rock priorities? Like, what would you like the St. Louis County Council to focus on? Like, what do you think some of those priorities should be?
So mine may look a little different from someone that lives in, let's say, West County or South County. With me being in North County, there are some things that North County can benefit from that are in other counties. Not other counties, but like West County or whatever. So, and just thinking about, when you live in your home, where are places that I can go that I don't have to drive far to? Because that's what a community is. You should be able to have access to things, to shops, to different places. You shouldn't have to travel far. It should all be within that 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile, 5 mile radius of your home, depending on where you are. So, and I remember going down, Councilwoman Webb. She did, and shout out to Councilwoman Webb. Shout out to her, because I know the role that she is in is not an easy role, but she's a woman for the job, and go for it, But I went down. I know that, when she did go accept the role of being North County, the councilwoman for North County, representing North County, I know one of her big rocks was Jamestown Mall. And I know that they're in the works of doing things. I kind of got out of the loop of it, because I know she was setting up, they had different like town halls, or just, you can go in and kind of see what they're doing, and, what the future looks like. But just really getting rid of that eyesore. That was a road that I traveled every day when I worked in Hazelwood School. So I drove past there every day, twice a day, in the morning and after school. So just seeing that, and it's like, why is it so difficult to get it removed? We don't even have to put anything in there right now. Let's just get it removed. So that will, that's continues to be, a hurdle in North County. And then just having access to different grocery stores. And I believe Miss Webb, she did say, Councilwoman Webb, that, the different businesses, they have to want to come to certain areas. So I know that was a factor too, because, we could say, oh, we need the Trader Joe's or the Whole Foods and things like that. But they have to want to come. And it's like, hey, if they don't want to come, do we really want them in our community? So just having the same access as if I lived on South Lindbergh, because I reside off of North Lindbergh. So if I lived in South Lindbergh, just to have that same access. That's all. Yeah. So, and then, I'm an advocate, me being an educator.
Yes.
But I know that, they don't really get into, because, the St. Louis County and school districts are separate.
Yeah.
But, there's, we can definitely go down that rabbit hole when it comes to education, but, and the schools in North County. But that's a whole nother topic. We're not gonna get on that. So when you have an education,
I will. I'll be sure.
We're gonna be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just having just the same access if I lived down the street 20 miles down Lindbergh, so that's my little spiel. But I will definitely, and I recommend, and for those who are listening, to spend time on Saturday, because like you said, they are taking time out of their Saturday, and they're going to be in this 4-hour meeting. So, it's going to be like, okay, here is the agenda. Let's get to the agenda. Let's stick to the agenda, and let's keep it moving, because this is a Saturday. So for them to have this meeting, and where can we access the link? Is it going to be on the St. Louis County website?
Yeah, and I'm gonna send the out, like, when we finish streaming this, I'll provide that link. I'll be sure you have that link too. Shonda, but you can find it on their website through their Boxcast platform, because they got kicked off of YouTube.
Oh wow!
They comment.
I don't know why. Why is that?
Yeah, them people was all kind of misinformation, disinformation, however you want to call it, with COVID and different things used to remedies, and I mean all kinds of foolery, racist talk. I mean, any type of offensive thing you can think of has been expressed during a St. Louis County Council meeting. And so because of that, YouTube kicked them off.
Oh, wow.
So that's why they used the Boxcast platform. I shouldn't laugh at that.
But can you only imagine what happens off camera? Wow, just makes you wonder. So for the greater good, just we can come together and just uplift the communities. And that's what it's about, at the end of the day. Uplifting the community, not trying to make your pockets fatter.
No, because at the end of the day, like, we're all connected and we are part of the same community. So whatever happens to you in North County, Shonda, is going to impact me living in the city and whatever the poor side of the Central West End. It's going to impact me, and what happens over here is going to impact you too. Because we're not living in bubbles here. So like, if you able to eat a little bit better, then hey, that's gonna positively impact me too. And that means we all as a whole, we eating better. You know what I mean? But people
they don't see it like that.
No, they don't.
See it in isolation, this group over here. But it's like, if we working collectively and we are intentional about working collectively, then we all gonna eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hello. We all gonna eat. It's enough. It's more than enough, y'all, for us to eat. Okay. We might
more than enough, but that dirty word racism is always in the middle of it.
It really
and that's unfortunate, and when we realize that racism, all the isms, it affects everybody.
It really does.
So
and it's design. I'm not gonna get into it, but I believe that the divide and conquer motto has been perfected to a T, and that is the reason why, like, we're not able to come together. Because if we was able to come together, baby, we wouldn't be having these conversations. We wouldn't be dealing with these issues. But because we're divided on so many different levels, race is one thing too. But it's some other levels, which I ain't gonna get into tonight. But there are other ways that we are divided that keeps us from coming together to advocate and work as a collective. So y'all, don't believe the hype. Like, don't get souped up. Don't feed into it. Don't.
And I'll say this too. It comes down to going out and voting. Because the people that are in these roles, that are in these positions, we always have to go back and remember they got there because they were voted in. I don't think they had a job interview. I think they got there based off of the votes. So when people are not showing up to vote, voting matters, elections matter. Get out and vote. And city residents, what you say, I wrote that down too. March the 7th, primary elections.
Yes.
Get out and vote. I'm going to be texting my family in the city, people I know, putting it out on Facebook. Get out and vote.
Please.
See who's going to be on the ballot. Get out and vote. And let's start providing some solutions.
Yes, we need them desperately. Real quick, I will plug one more thing about St. Louis County before I close out here. And it's funny, we talked about voting, so I got my little announcement. But with the St. Louis County Council Jazz, to people that are watching, because we got few people watching. If you are a St. Louis County resident, or hell, even if you're not, please, number one, try to tap into the meeting and listen into it. That's happening on Saturday. Whenever these folks meet on a Saturday, it's some ish. So please tap into that. Number 2, there is no public comment portion for this meeting. However, yeah, they not having that. No way, host. You know they not finna have that doing this meeting. But what I will say is still, you can still reach out to these folks. You can send them an email. I don't know about like calling them because, people in and out of the office, but feel free if you have a thought or idea of what you feel like these priorities St. Louis County need to be peeping. Email them, and not just Councilwoman Webb, not just Councilwoman Days, because they represent North County. Email all of these people. Email all of these people, all 7 of them. Email them. Point blank, period. Go on the St. Louis County Council website. Google is your friend. We use Google for all the other things. Google is your friend, boo. If you don't know their contact information or all of the St. Louis County council members, please go to St. Louis County's website. Google that. If you have issues trying to find the information, hit me up. I will direct you to that. And let them hear from you what you want to see. Y'all paying y'all's taxes. Y'all doing all this other stuff. As a St. Louis County resident, you have a right to let these folks know what you feel like they need to be prioritizing. Let's get it. So I'm done. That's it. Preaching. I'm done, Shonda. Drop the mic.
Mic drop.
Speaking of voting, so I have one announcement before we close out. I know this time flies so fast, but we have a challenge. Transform 314, road to the final 14, baby. So again, I've been talking about this for months. You might be living on a rock. I don't know. But if you didn't know, the city of St. Louis, we are transitioning from 28 to 14 wards. And I am a basketball fan. So March to me means March Madness, the road to the Final Four. However, in the city of St. Louis, we are having our own version of March Madness because everybody named mama running to keep their job. And we are having not a road to the Final Four, but a road to the Final 14, baby, to decide who will represent these new 14 wards. So go, if you have not followed Transform 314 on all social media platforms, please do that because we have a challenge, a bracket challenge. You can enter to win if you guess the 14 folks that win not just the one election, not the primary, but also the general in April. If you guess the right 14 that win both elections, you have a shot at getting a $100 gift card. Now, I could use $100 right now. Okay. So this is for my city fam. No shade to my North County folks, but restrictions apply. That little text at the bottom of the competitions and stuff. So yes, restrictions do apply. You have to be a city resident, and also you have to submit your responses by March 6th. You hear me? By March 6th. So you got a couple weeks left. So please, I'll be out in these streets a little bit with some upcoming programming. So please enter your chance to win this. This is a really, really important time in our city, y'all. This is history, point blank, period. So we got to be engaged. We got to tap in because if we ain't on the table, we on the menu. So start with this challenge. Make sure you know what ward you're in. Make sure you're registered to vote, to be able to vote in these elections, to choose. Again, I mentioned all these forms, candidate forms. So please, we have to make sure we are putting these right folks in these positions. So I know. So that's it. That is the conclusion of our Monday Night Live show. Shonda, do you have any announcements, upcoming events, anything you want to share with the people on the internet? And also, if you want people to follow you, contact you, please share that information too.
So in honor or in celebration of Black History Month, what I've been doing on my Facebook page, and my Facebook is Shonda Northern. My name is Shonda, Shonda. My last name is Northern, Northren. So, in celebration of Black History Month, what I've been doing each day, I actually took a few days off this week because I was sick. Each day, I highlight a person. So if you're interested in learning about, and it may be someone new because I try to focus on people that are not necessarily mainstream, because we know Martin Luther King, we know Rosa Parks,
Mm-hmm.
we know Harriet Tubman. So just trying to highlight other people. So that's what I'm doing for the month of February. You can find that on my Facebook page, Shonda Northern. And yeah, this was great. And if anybody, want to reach out or inbox me, you can do that on Facebook.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us,
Yeah,
Shonda.
really
This
good.
was a pleasure. I'm trying to think. Transform 314. I mean, we all up in it, y'all, in these streets. So we do have an upcoming North City community meetup at the Julia Davis Library on Saturday in the morning. We are going to be, because in our last community meetup, we really spoke about Board of Aldermen meetings, and we talked about Board of Aldermen meetings tonight. So we will be breaking down how the Board of Aldermen meetings flow, the full ones, not the committee meetings. Now, we're not going to be watching a full meeting because, baby, these last few weeks, these full Board of Aldermen meetings, 4-5 hours long. So nah, we're not finna do that. No, ma'am, no, sir. We are not doing that. But we will break it down because again, it can be a bit overwhelming and it can be a little intimidating if you try to tap into the meeting and you don't really know like what's going on. You're like, what the hell are these people talking about and what's being decided upon? And this is no diss or no shade to any resident because it's not meant for us regular people to really engage, okay, by design. So we're gonna break that down to figure out again so we know what's going on during the meetings and we can be engaged to influence those processes. So that will be at the Julia Davis Library Saturday 10 to 11:30. I'm feeding people. I got coffee on deck because I be needing my morning coffee too. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited for March. We're gonna start back our Kicking It for Causes next month. I mean, it's we finna be outside. I'm really excited about reconnect with my girl Vanna and AP. So we have it's just a lot of exciting things going on. I do want to let people know before we exit out, please don't believe the hype, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of foolery going on, a lot of trickeration, a lot of tap dancing, a lot of theater, real theatrics going on in the city of St. Louis because it is campaign season. So I just want my fellow St. Louis City fam to hear me. Please, just do your homework, know what's going on. Don't believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. If you don't know what's happening and how people moving and stuff, reach out to me. Because I got the receipts. So we really have to be intentional about who we are electing to represent us, y'all. So all right, that's it. I'm done. Thank y'all so much. Please be safe out there, stay well, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.